Hey, welcome back to the Marketing and Manifestation Podcast. I am your host, Shakira Park. Today we're diving into all things marketing and manifestation, and I'm going to be sharing a bit of an update on my life. I love when coaches that I follow do these sorts of candid podcasts and talk about what's happening in their businesses and what they're focusing on. So I think the start of the year is such a fun time to just look ahead on the year and share what your plans are with others. I'm all about sharing your plans with others. I've always been a bit of an open book, and I just think the more you share, the more you receive. And hopefully some of these messages resonate with you, and hopefully you find some value out of this. One of my values for 2025 is community and connection. I just want to be connecting with more like-minded women. I want to be building my sisterhood. I want to be finding my tribe. That's something that's really, really important to me this year. I moved to the Sunshine Coast. This will be my 5th year in the Sunshine Coast. I moved in August 2020, which is crazy. Before that, I lived in Melbourne, and I also did a stint in London. And in those cities, I never had an issue making female friendships, but I think because I do have female friends here, I have amazing, beautiful friends, but I don't feel like I have like that level of best friendship here like I did, I guess, in previous cities. And I think that comes with being in your 30s. I'm 32. The last couple of years for me have really been about building business and building my baby and my family and going through all the changes with that. So this year, my focus is really, of course, a business, and of course my family will always be my number one priority. But I think this year my themes are more community, connection, adventure. Adventure is one of my big themes going into 2025. We just brought a Range Rover 4-wheel drive, and we just got back from Gari doing some 4-wheel driving and camping, and that was just so much fun. Gari is an island just off the Australian coast. It used to be called Fraser Island, and Gari is the Aboriginal word for paradise. It is absolutely stunning there. The only thing is the dingoes. It's known for the dingoes on the island. We may have been not chased, but kind of hunted by 4 dingoes early one morning, and we made it out unscathed. So I'm just grateful to be alive, because I could have been eaten by a dingo a few weeks ago and not even be here. So whatever happens this year, I literally am just so grateful to be alive and that my family is safe. And anything else that happens now is just an absolute bonus. And then I guess my third theme, which is my main theme for the year, is my word of the year is self-love. The last couple of years have been a lot about business and baby and family and just pouring out to others, and I haven't really been pouring into my own cup. I am someone, I think all females, we all need to fill up our own cup and do things that light us up. I love self-care, I love spa days, I love yoga, I love time with my friends, I love time by myself, I love journaling and meditation and ceremonies and just spending time doing things that light me up and bring me joy. And I definitely am feeling the call to really get back to that, because I believe that when your energy is right, that's when you are your most magnetic, and that's when you can experience those quantum leaps in business and we're all just here on this planet to experience joy, right? And experience the wonderful things that life has to bring. And I think that the first step to anything is self-compassion. It's so easy to get caught up in competition and needing the next thing, vanity metrics and sales and likes and how many people jumped into your masterclass or training or signed up with you this week. I think everything starts with self-compassion and self-love. If we want to be the leaders that we know we can be, if you're listening to this podcast, I know that you are someone who has a big vision and has big dreams and goals. Sometimes we forget to just take care of ourselves when we're on that big mission and we're building a movement. Okay, so the first thing I'm doing in 2025 to bring more feminine flow into my business is simplifying my structures and systems for the most ease and simplicity possible. I've switched everything over to Kajabi recently. So everything lives on there now. My emails, my landing pages, my website, which I'll be building in 2025 as well. Everything lives on Kajabi. Previously, I had things on ConvertKit, Flowdesk and Squarespace, and there was just way too much happening. So I'm really focusing on simplifying my tech stack and my customer journey. So I'm really going all in on Instagram. Previously, I dabbled a little bit in TikTok. I tried LinkedIn last year, but I don't feel the emotional pull to LinkedIn. I don't know what it is, but I'm really going all in on Instagram at the moment, and then having lots of different free masterclasses. So I don't want to give too much away yet because it's not fully fleshed out, but instead of selling a million things, I'm going to just sell the one program and then offer private coaching, intensives, and other ways to work with me. So I invite you to simplify everything as much as possible. Instead of offering a trillion different things, especially if you're going through a pivot or you're new to business, just focusing on one offer to sell. So whether that is a program or a service, and you can upsell your clients later down the track. That also brings me to magnetic messaging, which is the second focus of my 2025. I think marketing is messaging, right? And the difference between you and someone who is earning 100K months and sells with such ease and gets millions of people into her frees and paid programs and courses and services. The difference is her messaging. Messaging is what sells. Messaging can create emotion. Messaging is what can bring clarity and can help your client get from A to B. So really just think about your marketing as messaging, and if there's one thing you want to focus on, or one thing that one thing you learned from this podcast that's going to really move the needle in your business, is being able to speak to new clients, like new prospects. There is such an art to communicating what it is you do, who it's for, how it's going to help their lives, and what they need to do to buy it. If you can master those things whenever you're speaking to a new person or audience, or creating a top of funnel piece of content, that's going to really help a new person understand exactly what it is you do. Remembering that we are in an attention economy. Whoever can grab someone with a hook, capture their attention, and speak clearly to them, that's who's going to get the sale, right? People buy from people they can understand the fastest, not because they're the best at what they do, not because of their price. It's definitely not because of price, right? It's never been about price. If it was about price, there wouldn't be budget airlines and high ticket airlines. There wouldn't be budget hotels and high ticket hotels. It's about the experience and what that person believes they're going to achieve, or how they're going to feel after working with you. And the only reason that they're going to have their mind made up about what the results are going to be from working with you is through your messaging. It's through your podcast, it's through your Instagram content, it's through your newsletters, it's through your sales pages, right? Everything is messaging. So if you can focus 2025, if your focus for 2025 can be nailing your message and writing the most magnetic messaging, I call it my transformational messaging method, which I take my clients through. What you need to do when you create a post or a new offer or whatever it is, you really need to think about, what does your ideal client need to hear today? Not what do I need to say today to make a sale, or how can I sound like an expert today, or what's my top tip of the day. Think about what she needs to hear. Well, I say she because my ideal client is a woman, but think about what your ideal client needs to hear today. Don't think about making the sale, think about what they need to hear today. In my favorite book, Building a Story Brand, Donald Miller says, the day we stop losing sleep about our own sales and the day we start losing sleep over the problems of our clients is the day everything changes in business. I totally butchered that quote, but I think you get what I'm trying to say. Instead of obsessing about you and your business, obsess about your ideal client and the problems you can solve for them. And then spend time learning and testing and experimenting with different ways of communicating with clarity how you can help them. If you want to learn about it, I really recommend jumping into my upcoming free masterclass. It's called Transform Your Marketing. It's happening on Monday, the 3rd of February. There's going to be a replay available as well. I highly recommend you jump in if you are interested in learning about messaging and want to call in more dream clients with way more ease. And if you're someone that gets stuck with writing content, maybe you get writer's block, this is going to be all about opening your creative channel and finding more flow and writing more content with conviction. If you really want to learn about messaging, come to the masterclass. It is going to be my focus for 2025. And if you're someone that follows me on Instagram, you'll probably see, I know you're probably seeing, everyone's kind of say that they're really enjoying my vibe and loving my content, but really it's my messaging. I love to have really fun creative. I've got a really fun style with all my reels at the moment. Shout out to Ash from Sophia Socials who helped me put together some B-roll content. I think the music that goes with it too, but it is my message, because you can have the prettiest content and it just doesn't convert because the message isn't there. So messaging has to be the number one focus. If you want to have a feminine flow-based business in 2025, you have to be focusing on your messaging and your copywriting. So if you don't know anything about it, or you think you're okay with messaging, but you could be better, whatever it is, I really encourage you to come to the free masterclass or jump into my private coaching, because that is something we can go really deep into, setting up your systems and your customer journey for success. Worth noting that magnetic messaging and using my transformational messaging method, it's not just about writing content that's perfect. That's not what we're trying to do at all. I think that messy action makes money and makes millions. What we're trying to do is share our own unique insights, because you have so many unique insights. You might not think you do, but you are a genius on your topic, and you might think that you don't have anything special to share, but you do. Trust me. And whenever I'm speaking with someone one-on-one, I'm really good at pulling those unique insights out and shining light on your genius, because it's so hard to actually see it for yourself, right? We can see it for other people. You might be like, oh, you should say this instead. But sometimes when it comes to our own content, we can be so blind to it. So I really encourage you to come live to the masterclass if you can make it, because we can do some Q&As at the end too. And I can give you some advice on your specific industry and your specific business, if that's something that you're looking for as well. The third thing I'm doing to create more feminine flow this year in my business is reconnecting to divine wisdom, to my connection with spirit, God, my spirit team, angels of the highest truth and compassion, and I guess protecting my energy as well. Last year, I took on a lot of clients that were not good for my energy or my nervous system. I felt drained, and I'm just being really, really conscious and bringing more consciousness into my business this year, because one thing a lot of people don't know about me is I am super spiritual. Super spiritual. I do tapping every night. I meditate. I speak to my spirit team. I journal. I literally just got out of a meditation session where I had my crystals all around me. If you're listening to this podcast, you could probably tell because it's named the Marketing and Manifestation Podcast. But I guess on my Instagram and when I meet people, it's kind of like a hidden side to me, but it really is everything I'm interested in. I'm not interested in watching YouTubes about meta ads or technical things. I guess I will, because I am a technical person and I love to integrate and watch tutorials on how to do things. But every night I'm watching a spiritual podcast. You know, my favorite podcast at the moment is Robert Edward Grant. He has a podcast called Think Tank, and he's very into geometry and pyramids, and his stuff is amazing. I highly recommend you go check it out if you're looking for something that's critical thinking but also very spiritual. He's a really, really, really cool guy, and he interviews some really cool people. So there's going to be some stories I'm going to share on the podcast about different spiritual practices and whatnot, but I'm just bringing more of that into my business, because I think that as much as I love strategy and marketing, I'm a marketing ride or die girl, so much of my success comes from when I'm feeling in alignment, when my energy is right, when I'm feeling that closest connection to spirit, and I'm listening to my intuition, requesting the guidance, and I'm calling upon my spirit team to give me the guidance. Sometimes by unplugging and disconnecting and requesting that guidance, knowing that your spirit team has you and the universe has your back, the craziest things can drop into your reality. It's crazy as quick as you ask for things. Like, I just did my vision board for 2025. It looks so good. It just lights me up. It made me have a look at my vision board from last year, and I have manifested so many things on that vision board. It was crazy. I didn't even know why I put a lot of those pictures on there in the first place. I had a bed next to the ocean, like through a window. I thought at the time it was like a cruise ship, I guess, like a yacht, but lo and behold, we end up not buying this house, we rent this house, getting this house where my bedroom is literally overlooking a lake, and like the picture and my bedroom look so similar. And I think I had a Range Rover on there too, and we ended up buying a Range Rover this year, all black of course, with the beige interior, which is what I've always wanted. And yeah, it's just crazy, like the things that can manifest once you put the intention out there, and you don't even know sometimes how you're going to get there, because the how is not up to you, it's up to the universe. But taking that inspired action and be open to receiving, don't be afraid to ask what it is that you want, because you might be surprised at how quickly and easily it can come into your reality. I guess one of the other areas that I'm focusing on, I mentioned it at the start of the podcast, but community and connection and building a soul tribe and a soul family is something I'm really excited about growing. I'm excited about growing this community and this movement. I really plan on releasing more video podcasts, because it's the type of content that I love to consume, and I think it's such a great way for building connection and community. I'm going to be bringing a lot more guests on the podcast as well, which I'm really excited about. I also hope to be speaking on stages and going to more networking events. But yeah, just having more connection with just women in the entrepreneurial and online space in general. I think having a personal brand is one thing, but it really means nothing if you're not creating community. If community isn't a part of your marketing strategy in 2025, maybe it should just be a part of your life strategy, because community and having a village is one of the basic human needs. It makes your life richer and more fulfilling. If you are someone that would like to be on the podcast or would like to have me on your podcast, please reach out and send me a DM. I love connecting with other people, and I would love to hear if you've been listening to this podcast and anything else you'd like to see. I promise to start doing some more educational type podcasts and actually speaking more into my messaging method and system strategies, but I wanted to keep it light on the technicalities in this podcast and just make it more of a connection podcast, I guess. And I hope I haven't spoken about myself too much, because I know with having a personal brand, you really do have to make it about your ideal client and about the audience. But I think I just did want to share what's going on in my business, because I love hearing about what's going on in other people's businesses. I'm so nosy and I love to hear what other people are up to. So I guess for me, simplifying my systems, loving Kajabi, creating reels and free masterclasses where I'm sending ads to my free masterclasses and letting my sales pages and email sequences work in the background, as well as tightening up my content on Instagram and my story highlights. I'm really making sure that I'm practicing what I preach and making sure that when someone jumps onto my Instagram, especially if they come from an ad and they're brand new, that they know exactly what I'm about, that I am the marketing and manifestation queen, and I can help you with your messaging and your sales systems. I'm really focusing on my messaging and the energy behind my messaging and the conviction in my messaging and just my connection to spirit and divine, and bringing that in to bring more feminine creativity into my business, focusing on community, meeting new people, and just growing this movement and helping more women with their marketing in the most soul-fulfilling way, and helping you gain more visibility and create more connection with dream clients. My goal is for every woman I work with to have a dream client reach out to them every single time they post on social media, because that is my reality. Every time I post an Instagram reel, I get a dream client reach out to me. And it's funny because I have a list of women that I would love to work with, women I just know that I met at events or seen around or have on Instagram. And slowly, one by one, they're all messaging me after I post and starting conversations, inquiring how to work with me. So things are happening, magic is happening. If you make yourself available for miracles, you'll be thrilled and in awe of the miracles that can happen once you start promoting yourself and just keep going. Know that none of us really know what we're doing, but we're taking big risks and putting ourselves out there, trying to have the best strategy possible. A lot of people that are thriving at the moment have those masculine structures, so they can have more feminine flow and be more creative and have more space and autonomy in their day as well, and just more freedom, because we all started our businesses for freedom. I'm not someone that can work Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, because I get sick and burnt out. So that is just not going to work for me anymore. So there has to be freedom in this business. There's no other way. I hope you have loved this podcast today. Thank you for listening to me, and I'm looking forward to bringing you more value and more exciting content and messages through 2025. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.